Hello and welcome to my channel on human design. Today I want to look at the mechanics involved in the awareness centers when they're open. It's really something you can watch, but I want you to understand them in a different way. I think this may be helpful. I will try anyway. What is an awareness center? It is there to be aware, and we have three awareness centers. We have the Ajna, the conceptual mind. We have the splenic system, which is about the environment. It's about feeling good or not. It's aware of the more subtle areas of influence. And we have the solar plex, the awareness of happiness or sadness, the awareness of pleasure or the awareness of pain. So we know these are the three awareness centers, but have you ever really thought about what that means? An awareness, whatever the awareness is aware of something. So if you have an awareness center that is open, either one of those three, I want you to think of the awareness of being like a collection trigger, a way of actually repetitively getting locked into something that is not you. And it can be triggered again and again and again easily if you're not aware of it. So we have this incredible mountain to climb. At the top of the mountain, we are passenger consciousness, and we're just moving in our life without trying to control the life, without trying to control the direction, without trying to control anything, just following strategy and authority and see what that's like. But that's there, you know, and when you're here, wherever here is, which isn't there, you've got to get there. And how do you do that? You do that in the same way through human design that really opens you out. And it opens you out through self-recognition. So when someone gives you a really good human design reading, you feel the recognition again and again. It's like, yes, that's me. Oh, you know, tears may come, laughter may come, you know, all kinds of things may come in that self-recognition. But what about the other side? What about the openness and your experience of it? So let me give you a few examples. If in the splenic system, we look at the 18th gate, and the 18th gate is a highly critical awareness, and it's awareness of what is not right, what is wrong, what is out of the pattern, what needs to be corrected. It's very critical, and it's tied to a survival mechanism. The spleen is about keeping us alive in the now. So when things are not going right according to that awareness, and remember that awareness will only be there at certain times, okay? The center is not connected unless it's connected to someone else through an aura, but by itself, it's not connected unless there's a transit. So you've got this open awareness of the environment and the feel good, but you're not paying any attention to it. You're not paying any attention to the awareness of the surroundings. You're not paying attention to anything other than what you have in you that's moving you. But something goes wrong, and there is always going to be a reason when you're thinking about logic. There's always reasons, and there's always a build-up of reasons, which is my point here. It's a trigger collection. So when when a transit comes into the 18, the 58 comes in, or the 4816 comes in, whatever it may be, when that spleen is connected, then suddenly that awareness of all the things that are wrong wants to come out. It wants to express itself. Remember, every center beneath the throat tries to get to the throat. Every center above the throat tries to get to the throat. So given an opportunity to express itself, out it comes with all the things that are wrong. And there's a whole list of them, because it's not just about the thing in the moment, which is what it's designed for. It's everything that went wrong that they can remember. And it's not called the bitch gate for nothing, because it can be very sharp. It can be very sharp. It can be very exaggerated. because everything in the open centers is exaggerated. It is a reaction, and it is very uncomfortable to go through that as the person that's letting all that critical data come out, because it comes out in the not-self way, a very dense way. So it kind of slams into other people. But that happens all the time in life, and people get used to it. You know, things flare up as transits come in. Let's take the 48. If you've got the 48 and it gets connected there, then suddenly the awareness is on where you're inadequate. You know, am I good enough? You know, this kind of thing comes in. And again, it collects all the different things of, you know, why you're not good enough, etc., etc. And that becomes a high sensitivity. Again, there's always going to be reasons. And there's always going to be this wanting to look to the future beyond all the critical things that have gone wrong, beyond all the inadequacies, to get through that, to get through to the other side where everything is fine and will be fine into the future. If you look at the solar plex and the open solar plex, wherever you have an open solar plex, you've got these collection triggers in terms of what's hurt you or what you miss, perhaps. You can also hold on to happy moments that you want to have more in your life, and the feeling of flatness and the feeling of disconnection can be there as well. But if you, again, go to the gates and think about the gates. So the 49th gate is the fear of rejection. That will be over-amplified. That will be oversensitive. You know, oversensitive to being rejected. But it's a gate, it's the heaviest gate in the chart. It can also be the gate of great insensitivity. Like anything in human design, there is this other side to consider. So when that's happening, there will be a build-up over time of all the injustices or whatever it may be, where you've been hurt. And again, that will come out all in a rush along with other feelings. You know, it's not uncommon for open solar plexus to kind of fall apart and a whole list of things come out as they try to express, if they can, what's going on. Think about the 37. And this is really a gate of looking for support. It's a gate of affection. It's a very sweet gate. But if you've got it open, then it's where is the lack of sweetness? You know, and the mind jumps in here because it collects all these things. It jumps in there, begins to make all kinds of stories and paints a picture that is not real. It's taking moments and putting them all together in a fiction that you believe to be true and in a life that isn't very happy. Think of the open 6th gate in the solar plex. Think about what it looks to. It looks to the 59. It's looking for the power of intimacy where it can let out its feelings, let out the built-up, accumulated feelings. So in the openness of that, again, the whole stream can come through and actually push away the intimacy because of the not-self power of the build-up that comes out. Think about the darkness of the 22nd gate and its yearning to reach to the other side. It's yearning to explode in that melodramatic way. You know, all the things that are dark, that have built up, you know, the way that individuals can be. It's really quite something. So these things are going to, as triggers, they're going to kick off at different times. And they're going to kick off in certain transits. And they're going to kick off around certain people because of what they have in them and what you have in you. So it's something to watch. If you go to the open Ajna, this will be collecting ideas, you know, and again, the 17th gate is very critical. You know, collecting ideas of things that should be fixed, collecting ideas of things that people should do, always looking to the future. It can be a torturous gate to have open. I mean, a brilliant gate to have open if you're helping other people, it's very good. But to have it open when you reflect inside, when you look at your life, especially when this center is lit up through a transit or through a connection with another aura. Think of the despair of the 11th gate, this idealistic gate that really wants everything to be, well, as it should, more like a fairy tale. You know, an idealistic frame that wants to live a larger than life and is then confronted with the mundanity of what their life may be at that time, the way that they see it. And again, there is this despair that comes in. Now, none of this is real. You've got to understand, this is the mind playing with us. This is the mind that's outside of the life. And it's the mind that has control because we've given it control, because, quite frankly, in my view, we've been taught to give it control. So we have this mountain to climb, this place to reach where the passenger consciousness comes in and the life is simply led. So when these trigger points, when these accumulation points of different times of awareness where things have just not gone right, where it's all very wrong, you know, when that comes out, then it's something to see that it comes out in a rush and to see that it goes also. There is this incredible thing about witnessing what happens when things are difficult that reveals all kinds of things behind it. And usually it's us. Usually it's a message to turn in and go, okay, so that's going on right now. But you don't have to get lost in it. You can move on with something else, come back to your true design, come back to what is always the case for you, and move with that. And whatever the not self is thinking, it may brood for a long time. This is the thing with open centers. They take time to empty out. So really what I want to say to you today is to think about these gates in the open awareness centers as accumulations of triggers that become more and more ready to blow, if you like. And when they do, to watch them and to see the content of what comes out of you when they do. And then you'll know. So think about these gates, think about the filters, get specific in watching what comes out of you when they're activated and they flow out. And be aware of them both in the negative and in the positive. But the point is, they're not you. They're not you. They're not to be repeated again and again. It's to witness it, to see it, to let it go. It comes up again. It's not going to be so intense because you noticed it that time. It becomes the patterns you notice. Remember, everything in the not self is a kind of predictability. You know, it's something that is always the same, and it's never true for you. It's always the same, and it's never true for you. It is an exaggerated awareness that has been held waiting to get out and probably brooding as it does it. You can see that as you get the rush of things coming. It's never just one thing. One thing leads to another thing. You know, an outburst in an emotional center, for example. You know, there's going to be all those memories and all, you might even not know what's coming out of you. It's just a rush of feeling, and you're in the feeling, the amplified feeling, and out it comes and out it comes. Feels good afterwards. But the point is, if it keeps repeating and you keep collecting and you keep holding, it's going to burst at some point with all the consequences that come with that, which then creates a dissonance, you know, in others. It creates a dissonance in you. This is all inner work. This is all inner work that we have to do to move up the mountain, or should I say, to float up to the mountain. where there is just passenger consciousness and life going on. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it could be useful. It's certainly something to look at, and I will be back again very soon with something completely different. Bye for now.